Thank you. That was perfect. Well, good morning, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Reverend Carmela, and it's my privilege to be the minister of Unity Spiritual Center. How many of you love fireworks displays? Yeah, raise your hands. I loved fireworks when I was a child, and I still do. July 4th was always celebrated with fireworks. We'd either go to Coney Island to see the display or go up on the roof. I grew up in Brooklyn. Go up on the roof to watch the roof, right? Okay, Bronx back there knows. We'd go up on the roof to watch the display over Manhattan, or we'd just go outside and watch the adults throw off the loud, dangerous ones when we had sparkles. Whatever, it was always great, it was always lively, and it was always colorful. Nearly everyone likes fireworks. Now, if you think back to a time when you experienced fireworks, there's probably three things that come together that you experienced while you were in that fireworks demonstration. Sight, sound, and feeling. Now, those three things come together to form a good fireworks display, and those three things come together to form and create and ignite that fire within us that works. Andrew, the first slide. Yeah, we have a colorful display today. Now, I'm sure there's fireworks going on in the area. I'm not sure where, but I'm sure there are. So what does this have to do with a spiritual talk? And like I said, these three elements come together to create and ignite that fire that is within each of us. That fire to love, that fire to live, that fire to be, that fire to express. That fire to be our spiritual selves, to be our true selves.
To dance.
And to dance. We're going to dance. Because your fire works. That fire within you works. And as I said, there's three elements. And the first element is sight. I'm sure you've all heard the saying that I'll believe it when I see it. Now that's the traditional approach to tangibly know something exists only if we see it first. Where in truth it's the opposite. The opposite is I'll see it and I'll believe it and then I'll see it. I said that wrong. I said that wrong. Most of the traditional is I'll believe it when I see it. But now it's I'll see it when I believe it. And that's the truth about it. Because whatever our thoughts manifest, and when we hold something in mind long enough and strong enough, through sight, sound, and feeling, we see it manifest. Greg Braden is one of my favorite authors. And in one of his early books, The Isaiah Effect, Decoding the Lost Science of Prayer and Prophecy, he shares about an experience he had. While he was on a vision quest in the Southwest, he met David, a Native American from that area. Well, years later, he went back to visit David, and while he visited David, there was a drought. So David said to him, we're going to go out and we're going to pray rain. So Greg went with David off to the wilderness, and David took him to an area where there was a medicine wheel. And Greg asked him, why are we here in the middle of nowhere? David laughed and said, this is the reason we have come. Today there is only you, me, earth, sky, and our Creator. That is all. Today we pray rain. So as Greg stood there, David went off into the medicine wheel, did his thing. Didn't take very long, but he walked around the medicine wheel with his eyes closed. And then when he came out, Greg said, you're done already? He said, I thought you were going to pray for rain. And Dave responded, no, I said I would pray rain. If I had prayed for rain, it would never happen. Later that afternoon, it started to rain, and it continued to rain. The important part here is to distinguish with praying for rain and praying rain. If he had prayed for rain, it would be a hope. It would be something set off into the future that he wanted to see. There would be no guarantee. When he prayed rain, he believed and knew the rain already existed. And it was just a matter of time before it was expressed within the world. He knew deep within him that he was rain and everything was rain. And that's why within a few hours, it rained. Now the funny part, not so funny part about this story is that it continued to rain. And it continued to rain. And continued to rain until some roads were flushed out. And Greg went up to him and said, "What happened? Can you stop it?" He said, "That's the only part I haven't figured out yet." It's a wonderful book. I think it was published around 2000. And again, it's the Isaiah effect. So he believed it, and therefore he saw it. Therefore he created it. Therefore it manifested. So now how do we use that spiritual sight, that believing, to ignite that fire within us? Well, number one is to really be aware on what we're focusing on. Are we being fooled by outer appearances, or are we seeing things from a sight of divine order and trust and love? Are we looking through the eyes of the ego, or are we looking through the eyes of spirit? Where are we putting our faith and trust? It's not easy, but it's so important to be ever aware of what is in the forefront of your mind. Because again, as you believe it, you will see it. Doubt has no place in our lives. Fear has no place in our lives as spiritual beings. So using sight, believing, knowing is one of the ways that we ignite that fire within us. There's a technique called I see truth. When you find yourself in a situation that appears to be frustrating or irritating, and you find yourself giving in to appearances like a traffic jam, or an irate customer on the phone, or an unrealistic deadline, you just stop and say, I see truth. That statement brings you out of whatever you're experiencing that's causing difficulty and brings you back into the center. I see truth. I affirm truth. It brings you back to your center and your balance and puts you back on a better course, on a course that you're intended to be on, and that's your spiritual course, your path. That other stuff out there has no power over you. And you can say that. Whatever is going on has no power over me. I see truth. And you let that be your path. Let that be your road. Don't let the outer appearances fool you or have you turn away from your truth. The second element is sound. Now fireworks, these fireworks that we see in the sky, have what's called a crackle effect. This is the term for the fireworks effect that sounds like hundreds of snaps and crackles, and is usually accompanied by an aerial gold lace visual effect. Do you remember, anybody remember those? You'd hear them going out off in the background, and there would be these little streamers and stuff coming down. Well, that's a crackle effect. And so here we're combining sight and sound. You see the visual effect in the sky, and you hear that crackling effect, that crackling sound. Well, in order to light our spiritual fire, we need to get that crackling effect going in our lives. We need to hear ourselves claiming truth. That's why denials and affirmations are so important. Because we know that whatever it is in the physical world has no power over us. That fire, that spirit within us, truth, is the only thing that has power over us. So we can say things like, fear has no power over me. I go forth into the world in perfect balance and harmony, and joy is present in my life. Now when we use denials and affirmations to denials, we just say in passing, fear has no power over me. But when we're using affirmations, we say them with intensity and feeling, because it's all three elements, sight, sound, and feeling, that allow us to manifest in the world. Unity ministers and founders of the Global Center for Spiritual Awakening, that's Bill and Cher Holton, suggest that to really make sound even more powerful, transform your words into music. Now they say that it's been proven that music has powerful effects on the human being, on the body, on the mind, on our state of being. It's been known to reduce stress. It's had measurable effects on the physical body, like reducing blood pressure, reducing the heart rate, and it enhances the body's ability to fight disease. Studies have shown that when music is played before, during, and after a surgical procedure, people undergoing surgery require less anesthesia, awaken from anesthesia more quickly and with less side effects, and heal more rapidly. I wish I knew this a month ago when I had my surgery. But it's true. And also, patients recovering from heart attacks and strokes respond more quickly to treatment when soothing music is played in the background. Now, again, Cher and Bill Holton suggest a technique called making truth music. So that means you take a tune like Row, Row, Row Your Boat, you make up a song about your situation. So you make up a verse about what it feels like you're going through, the physical stuff in the world. And then you change it to a truth statement. And since we have such a wonderful music team, Dr. Dane and John are going to give us the example. So the first will be the negative that you want to get rid of. Take it away.
I feel so mad inside. I really want to scream. There's no money. I have no skill. This goal is just a dream.
Now they suggest that you take that same music, and we know that that's a denial. She doesn't mean any of that. And we transform it to a truth principle using the same musical row, row, row your boat. Take it away.
I know the truth of me, this is mine to do. Divine ideas and all I need now make this dream come true.
Now, I'm going to read that again. I know the truth of me, and this is mine to do. Divine ideas and all I need now make this dream come true. And that's a statement that we can all live, and that's what they're talking about with taking a negative, owning it, but then transforming it into a positive, into something that you really want to see. And that creates the crackle effect within us. You hear yourself proclaim the truth, and you create that experience. You create the crackle effect, which helps ignite that fire. The third element is feeling. Your spiritual fire is ignited by three elements that can be interpreted as a triangle. You want to show that slide? So on the two sides, we have sight and sound, and then we have feeling. Because you can't create without feeling, without knowing, without being. Without knowing in the depths of your being who you are, what you are. And that you are divine expressions of God. So when we're viewing actual fireworks, you get to feel in two ways. You get to feel the physical feeling of the rumbling, of the vibrations from that. And you feel it's an external feeling, but you internalize it. You can feel it within your body. So while those vibrations are out there, they come within you, and you can actually feel that and resonate with the fireworks that you're watching. In the Bible, the book of Acts depicts the Feast of Pentecost, where tongues of fire appeared on everyone present. According to Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore, tongues of fire represent illumination of thought. Illumination of thought in demonstration of Spirit's power and presence. And that's the fireworks that we're talking about. That's the fire that we're talking about igniting within us. It's that illumination of thought to truth principle, which then allows us to manifest in the world. Spirit's presence and power is always there. And this means that we're not just speaking and hearing, we're believing. We're believing from deep within us That we affirm, what we affirm to be true is true, and we see it in our lives. When we feel it, we take action. When we feel it, we express it. When we feel it, we become it. And the thing about that, when we are in alignment with that truth of within us, within that spirit within us, when we allow it, it just takes us without effort. Without effort, paths unfold for us and we just move along our path without obstacles. That doesn't mean we don't experience obstacles in the future. But what it does mean is that we have more tools now to be in a place of spirit, to be in a place of truth when we want to. When we encounter an obstacle, we can, again, as I said before, I know truth. And it takes us and puts us back on the correct path. There's a great story about a volunteer fire department who was called to assist other firefighters in a raging fire on farmland. The volunteers arrived in a dilapidated old truck, and to the amazement of everyone gathered there, they drove straight into the middle of the flames. They didn't stop before. They drove straight into the middle of the flames. They jumped out of the truck, began spraying, and they were able to break the fire into 2 controllable fires and then put it out. The farmer was so impressed with these volunteer firefighters and so grateful that they saved his farm that he gave the chief a check for $1,000 right on the spot. When a local reporter asked the fire chief what he was going to do with the donation, he said, "Isn't it obvious? We're going to get the brakes fixed on that truck." They had no intention of driving into the middle of the fire. But that's what happens with our connection to spirit. We just do it. It just goes. And we may find ourselves in the middle of something. In their case, it was a fire. But wherever we are, when Spirit is guiding our path, we are there and we can handle it. We just automatically know what to do. We automatically know how to put out the fire if there's a fire and allow all that good stuff into our lives. So today, as you celebrate our country's independence today, on Tuesday actually, take a moment to celebrate your own independence. Your own independence from the world of appearances, from negativity, from disease, from lack. Your independence from allowing the ego to run you, to allowing spirit to run your life. You are the spirit within you, and that fire within you has those 3 elements, sight, sound, and feeling. And when they work together, when you ignite that fire, magic can happen. When you put those together in your life, your fire works. And that's what you're here for. Your fire works, you sparkle, and you walk on down your path in this beautiful, sparkling spirit. And allow Spirit and God to guide you. Wonderful things can happen when we allow that spirit and that fire to ignite within us and direct our path. Well, normally after the talk we have a meditation, but today we're going to do something different. As Dr. Dana said before, we're going to dance.
Oh, I'm so glad I came.
One way to ignite that fire within us is to just allow Spirit to take us over and move. This is a video that I found about 2 or 3 months ago, and I couldn't wait for an excuse to bring it and use it. And today is a perfect time. This video, the main reason for this video is to show that if we can dance together, we can live together. And it's filmed all over the world: Germany, France, United States, Australia, Italy, Spain, Brazil, Jordan, Morocco, Jamaica, Austria, Nigeria, and more. And each person, and in fact, if you're watching it, this is going to combine sight, sound, and feeling. Because you can watch it, you're going to hear it, and you're going to feel it by dancing. I noticed 2 or 3 landmarks, both in Manhattan and in Brooklyn. that I recognized, and it's filmed all over the world. And what they say is that with all things happening in the world that can divide us, this video is a reminder that we're better together. With love for each other and this planet, we can make change. If we dance together, imagine what else we can do together. So, today, instead of going within, you're going to go within, but a different way. Everybody get up and let's dance.